All right, fellas, I just learned a new perspective and I had to share it right away with the group. So, you ever felt like you just went 0 to 100, like a switch flipped in your head? Like you just lost control of your anger? You became the Incredible Hulk. It's happened to me many times, too many times. And I know this happens to a lot of other Caribbean men and Caribbean women too. It's just how many of us, we just know to be. That's not to say to justify or defend it. Many of us do recognize that it is negative, but we just don't know how to deal with it. We've accepted it as who we are and part of our life and whatever. Grateful for those that can put up with it. But that can be confusing, and even harder to figure out why or how to stop it from happening while it's happening each time. But I've come to learn that the reason many of us go from 0 to 100 is because we simply don't understand what it means to go from 0 to 20 and to 40 and to 60 and to 80 and then finally 100. So today I think it's important to take a few minutes to break down what I've come to learn are the 5 stages of anger, so we can understand where in those stages we have the ability and power to stop the train before it gets to stage 5. So here we go. 5 stages of anger. And as we do this, try to walk yourself through an angering situation in your head so you can see where you meet each stage, so you can identify yourself in this process. Stage 1, annoyance, is exactly what it sounds like. We feel bothered by what's happening. Um, that person is bothering us, what they're saying is bothering us, the situation is bothering us. We're not reacting yet, but we're definitely feeling annoyed, right? That's stage 1, annoyance. Stage 2 is assertiveness. This is where we are firm but fair with our needs and our opinions. We know what we want. We have the ability to address it with a calm voice. This is a big target. This is where we want to get to and where we want to stay. This is where we can control the train and kind of make it stop and not go any further into Anger Town and Rage City. This is where we need to learn to be, guys. Fellas, this is what we need to master as men, as leaders, as husbands, and as fathers. This is what we need to teach our children. This is the example we need to be assertive. Master being assertive, and that's where it ends. You won't even get to stage 3. Stage 3 is anger. And anger, this is the only true emotion of the 5 stages. Anger doesn't have to be bad, though. You make friends with your anger. It can be trusted to tell you the truth. Anger points you towards two things. When you're angry, it means something about the situation is important to you. You might not know what it is, but the fact that you're getting angry means something you value is at risk of something bad. That could mean emotional values being broken or violated, tangible things being broken or lost, anything that's important to you. Anger also tells you that there's a need for you that isn't being met. This need it's obviously important to you because it's affecting you so emotionally. So anger is not a bad thing. Anger is a survival mechanism, right? It's what you do with it. Um, the next stage is aggression. Aggression happens when we point our anger in someone else's direction. So now you're yelling in somebody's face, you're raising your tone at them, you're screaming at them. There's generally some signs that you're doing this. And think TTV, tone, timing, and volume. Your tone is more edgy. You know that right away. In microaggression, you're speaking aggressively. Your timing, you're cutting people off. You're not letting people finish. You're jumping in to speak and reply. You're not really listening. You know, Even yourself speaking, you're speaking much faster. You're getting more excited. And volume, boom, you're yelling. Volume goes up. And it all changes, right? So that's how you know you're being aggressive in a situation here. And that's stage 4. Stage 5 is the last stage. It's rage. It's full out Incredible Hulk. When we feel like we are not in control anymore. Uncontrollable anger. That's the best way many of us can describe it. That's how I describe it. We feel like we can't stop ourselves. But you know what? That's we actually can stop ourselves. In fact, you can control yourself in a situation because you could be yelling at somebody, you could be yelling at your partner, whoever, raging out. But then imagine if the phone rings in the middle of the fight. Most likely you can probably shut off your rage and talk on the phone real quick, or answer the door, or your child comes out of the room and needs help with something. You can shut the rage off and attend to those things, right? So right then and there shows you that you can control it once you learn to understand these things. And so these are the 5 stages of anger, but we see early in the lower stages that if you master those lower stages, then it prevents you from moving up to the higher stages towards rage. If you're being passive aggressive, you're missing stages 2 and 3, which is assertiveness and then anger. You're just going straight angry, straight rage. But many of us are taught to be aggressive, not assertive. Whether our parents realize it or not, that's the reality for many of us Caribbean men. I was taught to be aggressive. Not deliberately, that's just what I observed. For whatever reasons. We can go back into that, but there's no need to, right? So now we understand the different stages we hit between 0 and 100, and hopefully we're now able to see where we can control and prevent anger a little bit more, right? We need to learn to be more assertive, and I'm definitely going to dig into that. And I'm going through some workbooks and some modules and stuff so I can actually learn and improve myself and become more assertive before I start to share with others. So I'm going through all these things so I can learn it, so I can preach it, so I can become it, so that I can, teach it to my son and as many Caribbean men as I possibly can. So that's why I'm gonna keep doing a lot of these videos, these little podcasts, whatever you want to call it. Um, so yeah, thanks for listening. I would really appreciate it if you liked this video, if you subscribe to this channel, but more importantly, if you could share this video with as many Caribbean men as possible. You know, this knowledge is needed in our community. And this is a global movement of positive change for all Caribbean men, for the benefit of our entire Caribbean culture. So please do me a favor, do the entire Caribbean a favor, do the entire Caribbean culture a favor, and just share this video with as many Caribbean men and Caribbean people as possible. And yes, it would help if you liked and subscribed, um, because you know how it goes with this YouTube thing. But anyways, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you receiving this. And I hope it helped. Thanks everybody.